Great.
All good?
Hi, thanks for joining us all. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm Caroline Bowditch and I am the CEO at Arts Access Victoria. And it's a joy to have you all with us today for this information session about an exciting new project that has just come on board called Creatives in Schools, which is being led by Regional Arts Victoria. I am coming to you from the lands of the Boonwurrung people and would like to acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. We are recording this session so that people that can't be with us today are able to access it. And I'd like to acknowledge all of my disabled colleagues that have joined us today. I would like to hand over to Dave Rogers from Regional Arts Victoria, who is going to run us through the session for today. So Dave, hi, welcome.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for having me, Caroline, and
Pleasure.
welcome everyone. And I would also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands in which we're all meeting today. And I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. My name's Dave Rogers. I'm the statewide program manager for this program, which is called Creative Workers in Schools. I'm at Regional Arts Victoria, and as Caroline said, Regional Arts Victoria are putting this program out, but it is important to say that it's not just a regional program. This is a program for creative workers across Victoria, Metro, regional and everywhere in between. So I thought today what I'll do is I'll just go through what the program is, where it's come from, what the objectives are, and just about the kind of support that we're offering around our artists, who are the most important part in this puzzle. So Creative Workers in Schools, what this program is that we are going to partner 150 creative industry workers with Victorian government schools. And this includes special schools. The creative worker is employed on a full-time basis for 6 months to work with that school. And their role is to be an artist in residence and to, and to run their artistic practice in the school for that time. I should say that while we are employing creative workers and artists to work on this program on a full-time basis, the intention of the program is that artists within that time can continue to work on their own practice. So when I do talk about this program being full-time, the expectation isn't that you're in the school 5 days a week, 9 to 5. It's that you negotiate a program with the school that allows you to meet other commitments and other artistic projects that you're running in your own life as well. So from that point of view, it's a fantastic program for artists. I should say also that this Regional Arts are running this with the support of the Working for Victoria initiative. So that's a state government initiative that is providing support for people who have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic and people who have lost work or been displaced throughout that time. It's also being delivered in partnership with Creative Victoria and the Department of Education and Training. They're both very, very important partners for us in this to make sure it gets to the right schools and that we have a good support network for artists who are taking place as well. So at the end of the day, it's an artist in school residency program. We're running 2 streams of the program. The first stream goes across term 1 and term 2. And at the moment, we're getting ready to send those artists out to their schools to start working. The second stream is for terms 2 and 3, and that kicks off in April. So this program that I'm talking to you about, a part of it has started, but the main intake that I'll be talking about today kicks off in April, and expressions of expressions of interest are open now, and I'll go through that process in more detail a little later. So let me just talk a little bit about the objectives of the Creative Workers in Schools program. As I said, number one, the first is to provide employment and training opportunities for creative workers who have been impacted by COVID. So we're hoping that through this program, creative workers can firstly learn and improve their skills in art making in a school context, as well as the school community and that community engagement angle as well. So that post this program, they will have another employment skill that they will take out of it, so that they might be better placed to engage with schools and communities in the future. All of the creative workers who take place will have training and professional development opportunities. Some of those, such as the training that Arts Access Victoria are going to provide, some of that will be available to all of our artists. But what's really good about this program is that we have the opportunity to tailor professional development and training to each creative worker. So if there are parts of your practice or training or skill building that you would like, we can incorporate that into the program and have that covered by the program budget, which is quite wonderful. The other big objective of the Creative Workers in Schools program is from that school angle. So it's to enhance the delivery of arts in schools. As we all know, 2020 was it was hard on everyone, but certainly for school students, it was a very, very disrupted year. And I think, definitely what I saw from my angle was that schools abandoning anything they saw as optional. And unfortunately, in our education system, sometimes engagement with the arts is seen as optional. So this program is very much about putting artistic experiences and creative experiences in front of students again. Not to say, sorry, that goes without saying that what goes along with that is a chance for students to use arts to reconnect with their friends, their school community, and we know that art's a very good way to do that. I will quote, there's something that as artists you probably all know, that there's a lot of research to back this up, that arts engagement for students has positive impacts on their well-being, their connectedness with schools. That's very clearly proven, as well as their emotional well-being. But there is also some weak links around improved academic performance as well. But I never really like to talk about arts in schools in relation just to academic improvement. I think if we say, well, if you do music, you're going to become better at maths, I think that's really devaluing what the arts are in and of themselves. On the school side too, we believe that teachers observing artists working and engaging students is a really powerful learning opportunity for teachers. So for teachers to improve their practice and learn how simple it can be to incorporate the arts into what they do, and also for them to see how the arts can engage students who may not engage with mainstream schooling as well. So that's the basic outline of the program. You can stop me anytime for questions, or we can have questions at the end. You can, maybe if you put them in chat, I'll see them and we can just pull them up. Does that sound okay? So as I said, the timeline for this is that we've kicked off what we're calling Stream 1. So as of next week, about 38 artists will start their inductions with us, and will then go and start meeting their teachers and working with their schools. That relationship is a really important one to touch on. We want artists and teachers to co-design these programs. So we don't really want a situation where a school just says, we would like a mural and let's get an artist to paint that. It very much is about the teacher and the artist working together to design something that's meaningful for their students, as well as working for their school environment and school community. So if we've got 38 artists starting with us next week, that leaves another 112 artists that we are hoping to engage with this program. And at the moment, those EOIs are open for artists. So I'll just talk a little bit about I should say, so for Stream 2 that we're talking about, the timeline for that is April through to October. So essentially Term 2 and Term 3 of the school year. I should say too that when we do say schools, we're talking everything from prep or foundation all the way through to year 10. So it's good to have a spread of ages in our school communities as well. So when I say creative workers, I think sometimes with artists in school programs, we can be locked into thinking, oh, it's visual arts or it's theatre or it's dance, but we are really interested in having a wide array of artistic practice. So it could include landscape designers, it could include filmmakers, architects, costume makers, game makers, as well as what you might consider more traditional artists in residency pursuits such as visual arts, theatre, dance, music, all of that. So Regional Arts Victoria will pay the salary for a creative worker for a 6-month period. And it works out to be around $33,000 for the 6-month period. What's really great about this program too is that there are regular employee benefits that come along with it. For example, you're entitled to 10 days annual leave. You're entitled to sick leave. Of course, we pay superannuation. And artists can also access Regional Arts Victoria's Employee Assistance Program. So those benefits, unfortunately, are quite rare in artists in residency positions and programs. So we're really proud of that, and we're really excited that we can engage creative workers in a proper way. So along with that, paying a livable wage and the benefits that go along with that, and the training and professional development that I was talking about before, Regional Arts Victoria cover the cost of all travel and accommodation if travel is part of engaging with your school. And we're giving each artist $4,000 per project. Well, I should say per project per creative worker. And I'll talk about that in the how to apply part, but you can apply as a group of creative workers to engage with a school. And in that case, all creative workers are paid individually the same amount, but you end up with a larger project budget for your school. We're also covering the costs of working with children's checks and police checks, which are necessary to ensure child safety throughout the program. That's something very important to us and the schools we work with. And we're providing the schools with $3,500 for relief teachers so that teachers can take time out of their regular grind to concentrate on this program. Any questions about that so far? I'd love to know about the dates and timelines for Stream 3 as well. Thanks, Hannah. So at the moment, there are only 2 streams that we're funded for, so 2 6-month blocks. We would dearly love this to continue into the future for Stream 3, 4, 5, and 6, but at the moment we're only doing 2 streams. So the EOIs that are open at the moment is the last chance to be involved. And I'll say that the EOIs are open until February 22nd. So it's about a month away. So quite a long time to think about if you would like. I should say from the RAV end, we're really serious about supporting our creative workers who are going out, and part of that is making sure there's an administrative team around them who can take a lot of that load off them so that they can just be an artist or creative worker in residence. So in addition to myself, I'm the statewide program manager. My role is just to make sure the whole program happens, where we have a dedicated human resources manager. So with 150 staff comes a lot of work around making sure people are paid, making sure super goes into the right account. We'll have a human resources manager for that. We've got a payroll administration assistant. They will be helping, making sure everyone gets paid, as well as making sure that money for the program ends up in the right spot and is all properly balanced and acquitted for. Something Caroline's put in chat, can we talk about covering access costs? So we can 100% cover any costs around access. So this has been built in from the budget from very early on, where we're really committed to making sure that the opportunity to be part of the program as a creative worker is equitable, and that we have a diverse workforce of artists and admin team. So a big part of that is making sure that we can cover any associated costs. So that's something that's a big yes. And of course, that would be negotiated on a case-by-case basis, depending on the level of access required. But yeah, we're 100% committed to making sure that happens. And I'll go back. So we're going to have a team of regional managers. So if you can imagine, there's 150 creative workers out in, let's say, maybe 120 plus schools. These regional area managers will help the artist and the school maintain a good relationship and making sure that programs are running to the right timelines. And we're also going to take on 8 mentors. So these mentor positions are part-time, they're 4 days a week. But we're looking for artists who have worked in communities and with schools before. And they will provide support more from an artistic and community engagement angle. So for a creative worker, there's a team who can take care of making sure the money goes in the right place. You've got a regional area manager supporting you, making sure your relationship with the school and the program is running smoothly. And you've also got a mentor available to you to help you help the artistic vision of your project go the distance and have an outcome. And I mean, maybe outcome's the right word, because in some cases, when you're working in schools as an artist, the outcome can't be everything. And some programs are, it's negotiated that you don't have an outcome. And I think that's a really important thing to recognise as well. So I should say that the mentor positions haven't gone up yet. So they'll be advertised as of Monday, I believe. Actually, sorry, next Wednesday. So I'd encourage people to have a look at those positions as well. If you have experience working in a community context and believe that you have something to offer there, that could be a really exciting opportunity as well. Any questions? We're okay to keep pushing on. So, I feel like I've been here giving you.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Chris.
It's Chris. Yes.
Hi, Chris.
How you going?
Yeah, good. How are you?
I was just wondering if you wanted to see a folio or a demonstration of my art or my music or anything.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm about to talk about the EOI process and how creative workers can put in. No, that's fine. But I was about to say, I feel like I've been giving everyone a lot of good news, and now I'm going to bring it crashing down with some, well, I wouldn't say bad news, but I will say that this is a Working for Victoria initiative. So all of our EOIs have to go through the Working for Victoria platform.
Yeah.
It's like a job site, and basically there are a lot of organisations and a lot of corporations who are advertising positions through it. It has some quirks, so you actually need to apply through this site called Sidekicker. I'll follow this email up with I'll follow this meeting up with an email that has these links to try to make it as painless as possible. But within that, you have the opportunity, if you want to link to a folio or link to video work, you can do it just through links in the text fields there.
Okay, well, so like I take a photograph or do a recording or?
Yeah, anything like that. Or if I'm not sure, I mean, you could link to Facebook or Instagram or anywhere your work is already, that's fine. If you were to take a photo, I think that you would probably need to host it somewhere,
Right.
which could get a little complicated. And again, it's because we are using this government platform that does have some quirks. But Chris, if it was a real issue, we would ask you just to put the EOI through that platform. But if you wanted to email me any extra materials, we could make that work as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problems. Okay, so a couple of other things. So once you can apply as an individual to the program, an individual artist, because at the same time that we have artists who are filling out EOIs, we have schools doing the same thing. So the process will be that once an artist is successful, we try and match them with a school that's in their location roughly, and they kind of match what they're both looking to do. You can apply as a group, as I said before, but this requires each person to put in an EOI. So you can't have one person apply on behalf of the group. Each person would need to apply, and they would reference the group of people that they're working with as part of that application. I have a couple of questions. So links to SoundCloud or a website would be perfect to include in your EOI. Anything like that is great. And Hannah has asked, how would it work for a group of artists to work with a school across full-time loading? That's a great question, Hannah. I think one of the great things about this program is the flexibility that it offers creative workers. One of the harder things for me is that it's very hard for me to give definitive answers to questions, because a lot of the time the answer is going to be, it depends. One way a group of artists could work in a school would be they might choose to work as a group together across 3 days in the school. The other 2 days might be for them away from school, developing ideas, collaborating, planning, working away from the school. Another way I can imagine it going would be 2 artists perhaps each doing 2 days in the school across 5 days. It really, I think the message is that we'll make it work, and negotiation is just something that's going to be a big part of this program, which is a real advantage.
Can I just ask a question about
yes.
that? So I'm in a position where I am pursuing postgraduate education, and I can't commit to a full-time workloading, at least until June. But even then, I still don't know what's after that. Who knows what 2020?
Yeah, who knows? Oh, I know, right?
But I'm wondering whether there's a way to have a group of artists share the full-time load in a placement in a school. So rather than everyone working full-time, it would be like 3 artists all working 1 or 2 days a week, sharing that sort of load that way.
Totally. And I should just say, and I don't know whether I should say this on a recorded video, but I've said that it's full-time employment, but what I didn't say was that it's full-time load. So if you were like, I could definitely commit to 2.5 days in the school or 2 days, we would look at that and try to make that work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know it's an interesting program to try to communicate, because often, you know, we've been raised from a young age to go, well, this is what I get per hour and I only get paid if I do that hour. I think this is about supporting artists and supporting artists with employment. But part of that is recognising that supporting artists isn't just putting them to work for 40 hours a week. It's saying, here's some money to pay rent. Here's some time in your week to pursue what you love doing. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's probably the best way for me to describe it.
You don't have to be at the school for 40 hours a week.
Definitely not.
You can be at the school for 2 days a week and then doing other stuff, but you'd still get paid in the meantime. That's huge.
Yeah, and again, it's always a negotiation. And, you know, some schools might be like, we really would love someone here 3 days a week or 4 days a week. It's all a negotiation. But yeah, it is important to remember that I never said it was full-time work.
Yeah, it's full-time work.
And so, I think we're taking a real artists first approach with this. So we want to make it work for the creatives first. And of course, you know, we can make it work for the schools, and it will be an amazing program, and schools will get immense value out of having creatives in their presence. So yeah, we're going to really try to make it work for people.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Just another question from Mish. My creative experience includes visual art, drama, and film work. Do I need to prioritize one element? Or is it possible to include all of these in one program? Well, I think that I would say that it would be absolutely possible to include all of these in one program, and especially the way I do see a lot of people working today, it is cross-genre, and I think that that kind of experience in the school would be amazing. So I'd encourage you to not prioritise one element, and if you do put an EOI in, let us know about your amazing range of experience. That sounds fantastic. A couple of things just to know about the online application. On Regional Arts Victoria's website, under Creative Workers in Schools, there's a document called Guidance Materials for Creative Workers. This is available as a PDF or it's available as an audio file as well. On page 5, it has a section how to apply, and it does step you through the quirks of the system. But one thing that it is worth noting that, you know, when you go onto job sites sometimes and there's little text fields to fill out, you can't save that. So it's best to do it all in a Word document and then paste it across, and you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Hannah has asked about the different schools that are registered, especially any special schools. So the first EOIs for schools went out in the last 2 weeks of December, and I wasn't part of the program at that point. I do believe there are about 80 schools registered. And of that, I think we are working with 30 schools in this first stream. And I do know there are a couple of special schools. We have the Victorian School of the Deaf, and we have a deaf artist who's working with that school. But I probably would need to have a look through those schools to get any other details. But we're certainly we're encouraging special schools to apply, and we're serious about putting the support around those programs that it needs to work. Great. Okay, well, I think they're the basic things I wanted to cover about the program. As I said, I'll send an email after this just outlining a few things. It'll have my email and my phone number on it. So I would encourage you to give me a call or send me an email, and I'm happy to answer questions about it. Because I understand with programs like this, it doesn't help if I just say, it depends. So we do realise that we will need to, you know, build relationships with artists and schools to make sure this program works. I think that's all I really wanted to say.
What type of formal qualifications will I need?
You don't need any formal qualifications. So if you read the EOI, it does say that previous experience working with schools or communities would be welcomed, but it's certainly not essential. So we're not looking for teachers, qualified teachers. We're not looking for people who have studied arts. We're looking for people who have their own practice and are willing to share. So that's the biggest qualification of all. We do ask that everyone has a working with children check and a police check, but as I said before, we cover the costs of that.
Okay. Oh, well, that sounds good.
Great.
It all sounds a bit too good to be true, Dave. A flexible, kind of open program where you're going to get paid full time, but you don't have to be in a school full time, and it doesn't matter about your qualifications, and you're going to cover access costs. Like, it just sounds all too good to be true. So
yeah, I mean, the team at Regional Arts Victoria put a lot of thought into this grant to make sure it was good, and I've worked with plenty of artists in schools programs before where I don't think the artist has been put first, but yeah, I really feel like this is the case here. Sean has asked whether there's a list of schools that are already part of this program. So there isn't, and at the moment we haven't announced those. So I at this stage, unfortunately, I can't even share that yet, but that will be announced, I think, at the end of January. I should say too that if you do have a relationship with a school or you've worked with a school before, we would encourage you to apply with that school, so you could have a conversation with that school beforehand about what you wanted to do, and we would ask you and the school to put in your own EOIs. And we have seen artists be very successful with their applications when they've spoken to a school before, but it's certainly not a prerequisite. And we do have plenty of schools who are interested in this program who don't know any artists in their area. So I think the first place, if you are interested in learning more about it, is to go to the Regional Arts Victoria website and click on Creative Workers. And that will have that guide that I was talking about. But yeah, again, I'll send an email that has all of that information for you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Questions while we've got Dave, but obviously you can follow up at any point. Dave, I'm wondering if it's possible to put the website link or your email in the chat? Possibly?
Yeah, I can do that. Or what about I do both?
Follow up.
Yeah. All right, so here is the website. And there's my email address. Brilliant. Oh, and I'll put my phone number 0434. And there's my phone number if you would like to talk more about it.
Great. That's brilliant.
Thanks so much for letting me come along and talk about the program. We're really excited about it, and I really encourage you to have a closer look.
Yeah, and apply. That would be amazing. It's so great to get some disabled artists working in schools. That would be really great.
I think it would be incredible. So yeah, if you know other people who might be interested in this program, make sure you share the video with them or send them my details.
Yeah, we will put this video onto, or we'll let people know that this video is available via our socials, so that anyone that wasn't able to get here can get in touch and we can send it on to them, a link to it.
Amazing.
Again, thank you all for coming and for your time. And Dave, thank you for the brilliant information. And thank you, Susan, for hanging in there for 45 minutes nearly without your arms falling off. That's good. Enjoy the rest
Thanks so
of your
much,
afternoon.
Caroline. Bye.
Thanks
See
so
you
much.
around.
Caroline. Thanks, Dave.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Thanks so much.